story and another of our focus tonight. Huge relief for activist Teesta Setalvad and her husband Javed Anand. The Supreme Court today extended the stay on the arrest of the couple in a case of alleged embezzlement of funds meant for riot victims. Here's a report before we come to our face-off tonight.
Known Modi baiter and social activist Teesta Setalvad will not be arrested for now, after the Supreme Court reserved its judgment on her anticipatory bail plea. The Supreme Court observed that liberty could not be put on ventilator and that Teesta and her husband could not be treated as scamsters. The case pertains to a proposed museum of resistance at this site, the Gulbarg Society, where at least 69 people met a brutal end at the hands of a riotous mob on February 28, 2002. Teesta and her husband tried raising funds for this museum through two trusts, but as per the complaint by a family member of a riot victim, allegedly diverted a part of the donations towards personal use. The Gujarat police is pushing for custodial interrogation of the couple, contested by the activist couple first in the High Court and now the Supreme Court. But the defence claims that the Gujarat police's FIR is a ploy to launch an investigation into the two trusts run by Teesta. They claim complete transparency.
The Supreme Court today observed that the petitioners, regardless of who they are, need to cooperate with investigating agencies, but liberty cannot be put on a ventilator. The Supreme Court also said that Javed and Teesta cannot be treated as scamsters, as they individuals who've been fighting for a cause, right or wrong. What happens from now onwards is that investigations will continue in Gujarat, and Teesta's counsel has assured that the duo will cooperate with the Gujarat police. With camera person Wahid Beg in New Delhi, Simi Pasha.
Big question, the Teesta controversy. Is the activist now being hounded by the Gujarat government, or does she have much to hide? That's our face-off tonight. Joining me to make more sense of this, Prashant Bhushan, senior advocate in the Supreme Court, who's taken up Teesta's case. And also joining me is Sudhanshu Mittal of the BJP. Prashant Bhushan, you have come out in defense of Teesta Setalvad in an article that you wrote in the Times of India yesterday, saying the case of Teesta Setalvad is a chilling example of what can still happen to even highly acclaimed and well-connected persons in this country if they take on those in authority, and especially if the person you have taken on becomes the most powerful person in the country. Do you have any evidence to back your claim that Narendra Modi and his government is behind the hounding of Teesta Setalvad? Do you have any evidence to suggest that Teesta Setalvad is deliberately being hounded?
Well, what more evidence do you need? The fact that this is the 7th case that has been taken up against her by the Gujarat police. 6 of those earlier cases have been stayed by the Supreme Court. She has been granted relief by the High Court of the Supreme Court. She has been granted relief in those cases. This is the 7th case that has been taken up. And this complaint has been filed by one supposed or a few supposed residents of that Gulbarg Society who were neither the donors nor the members of this trust. Their complaint is that donations that were made to the trust for construction of some museum at Gulbarg Society have been misappropriated by Teesta Setalvad. Now, for about 1 year now, the Gujarat police has been investigating this matter. They have asked Teesta Setalvad to provide various documents, accounts, etc., which she has duly provided. And yet, you see, despite the fact that this case, whether there is any case against her or not, is to be proven from those documents, despite that, the police is hell-bent upon arresting her. Within 45 minutes of this order of the Gujarat High Court, they reached her residence in Bombay to arrest her. Why do they need to arrest her or have custodial interrogation when custodial interrogation is effectively prohibited by the Constitution, because no person can be compelled to answer questions under the guise of custodial interrogation, which is a euphemism for torture in this country.
Mr. Bhushan, I'll come to the specifics of the charges against Teesta Setalvad, but Sudhanshu Mittal, respond to that point which is being made by Prashant Bhushan, that case after case is being heaped on Teesta Setalvad, and it seems that the police is determined for custodial interrogation on a case that is based essentially on documents. The documents have been provided to the Gujarat police, Why is the Gujarat police hell-bent on the custodial interrogation of Teesta Setalvad? That's what's leading to the impression that she is being hounded because she was batting for the riot victims of 2002.
Rasi, a few facts need to be clarified because very emphatically Mr. Bhushan has mentioned that the complainants were not members of the Sabrang Trust. Yes, they were not, surely. Because you have to understand who are the members of Sabrang Trust. Teesta, her husband, her sister, Amili. These are the 3 trustees of that trust. And each drawing a salary of 40,000 rupees per month from that trust. Now, public trustees are never expected to draw salaries out of trusts created by themselves. But that part, I'm not getting into that.
No, that's not what the case is about.
Let me tell you what is the case all about. The case is all about 9.7 crore rupees, 75 crore rupees, including foreign donations received by Sabrang Trust as well as Citizens for Justice and Peace, 9.75 crores. And money which has been transferred directly into the accounts of Teesta and her husband, 1.69 crores. Cash withdrawal is to the tune of 1.8 crores. Money paid to the company of the Setalvads, that's a privately limited company called Sabrang Communication, is to the extent of 1.69 crores. In the name of public service, money has been paid for laundry, for liquor.
So you're saying that
paid for branded
so
clothes.
you're saying that
just 1 minute.
Yes.
No. I am only saying that 12 residents of Gulbarga society, they are residents of that society, they have made a complaint. And on the basis of a complaint, an investigation is ordered. The investigation comes out with such startling facts. I've heard over 50 press conferences from Ms. Setalvad about everything. Why has she not come clean about all the money transactions which are now in public domain?
Let me take that to Prashant Bhushan. Prashant Bhushan, do you want to look at those specific allegations? The Gujarat government's affidavit before the Gujarat High Court contended that Teesta Setalvad and her husband had used the money meant for riot victims or for their personal benefit on foreign trips, liquor, personal luxuries. Should she be answering those specific questions in the public domain? And if the investigation that the Gujarat police says has resulted in these findings, are they not entitled to investigate her, question her, interrogate her, possibly custodial interrogation?
She has answered each one of these questions. She has handed over more than 12,000 pages of documents even before the Gujarat High Court. Her counsel in the court challenged the counsel of the Gujarat government that even if you can show one single paisa which was part of the trust funds which has been misappropriated by her or used for her personal expenses, he would be out of court and he would withdraw this appeal before the Supreme Court. They are just because some of the expenses for the trust were initially incurred from the accounts or from the personal credit cards of Teesta Setalvad or her husband Javed Anand, which were later reimbursed from the accounts of the trust to her. Just on account of that, they have been making all kinds of absurd allegations that, look, from your personal account you have spent on wine, or from your personal account you have spent on your hairdresser, etc. And because some money has been reimbursed from the trust to your personal account, therefore it must be assumed that this payment of this wine or for your hairdresser is from your is misappropriation of the trust funds. These are the absurd basis on which these kinds of totally slanderous allegations have been bandied about both in court as well as outside court, and are being bandied about by Mr. Sudhanshu Mittal, which are totally defamatory in nature.
You know, Mr. Mittal, the fact is that there has been in the past, the track record of the Gujarat government on this issue is rather disappointing and depressing. The Gujarat government in the past targeted Teesta Setalvad through FIRs that never really worked, whether it was the case of the best bakery in Vadodara, whether it was the exhumation case in Panchmahal, in Pandarwada. The fact is, the Gujarat government has tried it in the past also to file FIRs which have eventually fallen. That is why the questions are. And now you are saying Teesta Setalvad, who is a wealthy woman in her own right, is taking the money which has been meant for riot victims for her own personal benefit. There are serious questions that the BJP government in Gujarat has to answer. In the past also, your track record, the question which the Supreme Court also today, it was raised in the Supreme Court.
Rajdeep.
Yes.
Rajdeep, whose track record are we talking? The track record of Teesta, who filed innumerable cases against Narendra Modi ji personally and landed up with what? Nothing.
No, it's becoming a personal battle. That's precisely my problem. It seems to be becoming a personal battle between Narendra Modi and Teesta Setalvad. One is the Prime Minister of the country, one is an activist. Let's go by the law of the land. Why not go by the law of the land?
Rajdeep, would you allow me to elaborate the law of the land?
Yes.
The law of the land is nobody is above law. The mightiest of the mighty is not above law.
Yes, but
whoever
you have to follow procedure.
You have to
follow procedure.
Yeah, the procedure is followed. Please allow me, Raji.
Yes.
Allow me to expand.
Yes.
The procedure has been followed to the T. There is an FIR which is registered on 4th January 2014. An investigation is done. And it is normal process to have custodial interrogation. But Mr. Prashant was just talking about custodial interrogation being illegal for the constitution. Let him get it caught. I have no issues. Because in India, across the country, people are held captive for custodial interrogation given by the court itself. So let's not debate that. Let's not digress. Issue is what? Issue is money has been siphoned. Let me, you said she was a very wealthy lady. Let me just bring one fact before you. The saving bank account of Teesta in Union Bank of India shows the total amount of deposit between 1st January 2001 to 31st January 2001 nil. Total deposited between 1st January 2002 to 31st 12 2002 nil. And look, then what happens? From 1st January 2003 onwards, the total money deposited is 1,49,44,851. Now let's look at the account of Mr. Javed Anand. Saving bank account. I'm talking about saving bank account. These are personal saving bank accounts of Teesta and Mr. Anand. What money does he have? It is 36,23,981. And even her daughter has over 12 lakhs deposited. Look. These are all things which need to be explained. Merely
they can be explained. Mr. Sudhanshu Mittal, I agree they need to be explained. My question is what is the need for custodial interrogation at this stage? What is the need for custodial interrogation? It seems that this has become a prestige issue. Gujarat police
cooperating.
Because she's not cooperating. Okay, let me bring the final word then to you. Okay, let me bring that final word to you then, Prashant Bhushan. Teesta Setalvad, according to the Gujarat government, according to Sudhanshu Mittal, according to Gujarat police, is not cooperating with the investigation. I'm going to give you the final word on that. Is Teesta Setalvad willing to commit herself to fully cooperating with the investigation?
As far as I have been able to say, she is more than fully cooperating. She has given more than 12,000 vouchers about the trust accounts, about her, even about any transfers made from the trust to her personal account, etc., by way of reimbursement for these expenditures that she had made on behalf of the trust. Everything has been handed over not just to the Gujarat police but also to the Gujarat High Court. The point is, why this is a case which has to be made on the basis of documentary evidence. This whole business of requiring her for custodial interrogation is just, as I said, this is an anathema to the Constitution. This is something which is not clearly and properly understood neither by the police nor the courts, that Article 20 of the Constitution says no person can be compelled to be a witness against himself, and therefore every accused person has a constitutional right of silence. And therefore there is no question of saying that, look, because she is not cooperating, therefore I will subject her to custodial interrogation. There is another misconception that the police has about their powers of arrest. The Supreme Court has laid down that arrest can be made only in 3 or 4 circumstances. And none of those 3 or 4 circumstances are present in Teesta's case.
Let the courts hold it illegal. What are we debating?
No, so we'll wait for the court.
We are not debating what the Supreme Court has held.
No, we will wait. The court at the moment, the court has reserved its judgment.
Let the court.
Let the court decide.
Let the court decide.
Okay.
Just a minute. Let the court decide whether police custody is legal or not legal. Till such time the courts have decided that police custody is legal, we follow the rule of the law.
Let's leave it at that.
Supreme Court is the interpreter of law and not the
Let's leave it at that.
My only thing is nobody is above law.
Okay, nobody is above law, but we need to follow the rule of law. Nobody is above law, we need to follow the rule of law.
She's being hounded.
Okay.
Nobody should say that because she is a celebrity.
Sir, it's not a question of a celebrity, sir. The fact is several cases have been filed. In the past, those cases have fallen. Maybe this case you believe.
It doesn't matter. This case is evidence. Let the court decide on the evidence. Let us not say because she's
I'm going to leave it there.
She's high and mighty. No, nobody is above law.
Rajdeep,
nobody is above law.
All these police officers who have been charged by the CBI and by SITs appointed by the High Court for being guilty of multiple murders have not only been let off on bail, but they have been reinstated by the Gujarat government. And now they are saying कि हमारे अच्छे दिन आ गए हैं. And this Teest Setalvad on a complaint not even made by any one of the donors nor by any one of the trustees, on a totally frivolous complaint being made, has to be arrested and subjected to custodial interrogation. Is this the law of the land?
Law of the land.
Is this the rule of law?
Rajdeep, can you imagine the perverseness of the argument? The Supreme Court gave them bail. It is not that the government of India or Gujarat government gave them bail. So let us not subvert.
And you reinstate them back in police. And you garland them. And they say, "Hamare achhe din aa gaye."
That's the rule of the law. Sir, that's the rule of law. Change the law. I have no issues on that.
I am going to leave it there. I am going to leave it there. Gujarat police, sir.
Who is now enlarged on bail can be reinstated as a rule of law. So let's not subvert law, seeing faces. What is happening is you want different set of rules for some face and a different set of rules for some other face.
I'm going to leave it there.
Rule of law must prevail. It has to be universally applicable. If police custody is illegal, let the Supreme Court decide that.
We will let the Supreme Court. Mr. Sudhanshu Mittal, let's leave it at that. The fact is both sides. Teest Setalvad has had people who have been batting for her. The Gujarat government has also been trying to run a campaign against her. Both sides should leave it to the Supreme Court. Let's leave it now to the Supreme Court. Law of the land and rule of law. Let that prevail in this country. Hopefully that will prevail above all else. We are a country which is run through a judicial system. Thank you very much to both of you for joining us. Teesta hounded, or is she hiding facts? We leave you.